Hi, welcome back to Craft Corner. On today's episode, we're going to make pine cleaner. It's very simple. You need very few ingredients, and we're going to actually use pines that you can use if you have a pine tree or anything in your area with actual fresh pines. So you need the pines, you need vinegar, a little distilled water, and your fragrance oil, of course. Pine cleaner is very effective because doing my research for this, I found out that the pines actually have antibacterial properties, which I did not know. So that makes it even better. So, like I say, it's not a lot of things that you're going to need. You need the bare necessities. I do suggest you use gloves because these pines are kind of sticky. You know, they're getting your finger. But other than that, minimal ingredients, and it works wonders. So we're going to set up, I'm going to set up, I should say, and then let's get started. So to kick this off, normally if you're going to use food coloring, which I did with this fragrance is clean linen. So the next one I'm going to use lavender. So I wanted to go ahead and make them the colors like the pines are that they sell in the store. So normally you should just go ahead, if you're not going to use colors, you'll go ahead and put your pines in the jar, then the vinegar, then the fragrance oil. But because I'm going to use colors, I'm going to go ahead and put a little of the distilled water in here. And then I'm going to count on my drops. I'm trying to get like a lavender color and shake it up. Then I'll begin with putting the pines in there, then the fragrance oil, then the distilled vinegar. So let's count our drops. This is just regular food coloring, nothing, not candle dye or anything, just regular food coloring. Okay, let's see if I can get a purple color, because it'll change colors once you add more liquid and the distilled vinegar. Right now it looks just like the blue, so I'm going to add a little bit more red in here. Is it supposed to be? Yeah, it was right. I can see it's a dark purple, so that's good enough for me at the moment. So then now I'm going to go ahead, and since I've already added the some liquid in here, I'll go ahead and add my lavender. I'll be back in a sec because once again I have this cap on it. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so let's add a little lavender. That was about maybe 15 to 18 drops just to get it started. You'll know and can adjust how much lavender you need once you add the vinegar to it, because you want the pine and the fragrance to overshadow the vinegar. So let's put these gloves on, and then what you do is just fill the jar, and you really want to fill it as much as you can. Get as many pines as you can inside the jar and just push them down. Like I say, you really want fresh pines so you can smell the freshness of it, which, like I say, doing some research, I was quite shocked. I had no idea that pines had an antibacterial property in them, and I also found certain pines are edible. So now knowing that, I will be back later with maybe some type of pine recipe. Let's try to smash these. And you might have to like cut pieces off to get them to go in there. Like I say, really stuff as many as you can inside the bottle, just to get the maximum pine scent that you actually can. Cut, cut some of these off. Get them in the jar. There we go. And you're going to want to submerge. I have some distilled water in here. However, I think I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm not going to just fill the jar completely with the distilled vinegar, but I am going to add a lot. So I think that'll do. So then once you have your jar with the pines, you will go ahead and add fragrance, which I did. I really smell the pines. But before I add more fragrance, what I'm going to do is add just a little bit more water. So that's maybe a total of maybe 4 ounces. This is a 32-ounce jar. Then I'm going to add my distilled vinegar. Now, if this distilled vinegar is too strong and it's overpowering my pine and my fragrance oil, I'm going to add more fragrance oil. That's good. You want them covered. You can actually mash that down. So I smell pine. I still smell a little hint of distilled vinegar. So I want to add more fragrance to this, because this sits for 2 weeks and you really want it to pick up the pine and the fragrance oil more than you want it to pick up the distilled vinegar, unless you like the smell of distilled vinegar. So then once we get this, we're going to screw the top on, and we're just going to shake it up to make sure everything is mixed evenly. I smell lavender and pine actually in my hands, so let's see. Okay, lavender and pine, that's what we're looking for. So once you have made your mixture, make sure the bottle's clean. You just set it aside and let it sit up for 2 weeks so it can go ahead and get the smell and the scent and pull all the pine from it. And then once the pine and it has gotten all the pine fragrance and essence from it, the antibacterial properties or whatever, then you can go ahead and strain it and put it in your bottle. So I'm going to clean up. I'll be back in a second because this one has sat for 2.5 weeks, and I'm going to go ahead and strain it and put it in this bottle. And then once I do that, it'll be ready for use. So let me clean up and I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So now, okay, this smells like pine and clean linen, so this is a great fragrance to use. I'm going to use, if you have a spare bottle or something, clean the bottle out or whatever. This is just an old, well, actually not old. It's a sports bottle that I've never used. I took the straw out of it because I didn't have any other container, but I thought this would be a good container. So I'm going to, if you have a funnel, I don't have a funnel for projects, but I guess I'll be getting one. But I'm going to hopefully drain this liquid into here without making too much of a mess. And then once it goes in here, this will be the finished product and it'll be ready to use. So let's go ahead and, okay. Like I said, these are 32-ounce jars. Oh, wow, didn't realize it was going to fill it all the way up. Oh, wow, that's perfect. When can I get the little rest out? Oh, so this was perfect. This was perfect. So it filled up my whole jar. Uh-oh. And then I put a little piece of tape that I had and put on there, pine, it's fresh linen pine cleaner. So that's what I have it in, and it looks fantastic. It smells good. So now all I have to do is start to use it. And quite naturally, I'll discard this in the bag with the rest of the pines. And you can see that it really took if you see the fresh pine versus the one that's been sitting, it really took the color from it, or maybe it dyed the color or something, but still had the scent. But like I say, this is an easy, simple, cost-effective cleaning hack that you can use. I do believe if you look it up, you're not supposed to use, because it has a distilled vinegar in there. Do some research of your own, but you're not supposed to use it on, I believe, like stainless steel items, hardwood floors, and like granite countertops or whatever. But I believe everything else is safe. But like I say, do some research to see what you can and cannot clean with distilled vinegar, because distilled vinegar is the major ingredient in this product here. But other than that, it should be good to go. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Craft Corner and found a new handy tip that'll help you save money. I'll have many more still coming. Thank you for stopping by and watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Craft Corner. Enjoy your day. Bye.